everyone, welcome back to today's video. We are watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, episode 6. Let's see what's going to happen today.
Telling you every single person in our group has said something about you.
Have you talked to her at all or no?
No.
I'm actually really happy that Whitney came to the event because I want the group to just be happy and whole. And so I'm glad she came to like try to make amends with Jesse. Mom talk just wouldn't be mom talk without Whitney.
No, it's so much easier to just be like, hey, you were let's talk. This bothered me. Find common ground, figure it out, move on.
Yeah, she hasn't blocked me yet, so.
Wait, she blocked you?
Let me check to see if she blocked me. She didn't block me, but she unfollowed all of us.
Oh.
No, she did not. Except you.
Okay, so Whitney's doing the whole, I'm going to leave the friend group chat and I'm going to unfollow you from socials, apparently. Okay. Interesting. You know, the series ended up becoming like about Whitney. Even last video, I said something like, oh, I'm so glad Whitney's not making it about herself. And then by the end of it, I was like, Whitney made it about herself. And I almost thought about making the title like, never mind, Whitney ended up making it about herself. But anyways, yeah, I guess this whole series is really just going to be about Whitney. I'm interested to see their socials. I have still not Googled their socials, so I don't know what their TikToks are like now. I don't really know what's going on. I did see like some futuristic stuff like Whitney had a second pregnancy, or third. I don't think that's a spoiler, but Whitney is pregnant or something. So I know that's coming into the future, which she said last episode, like, I really want to be pregnant. So, and they're Mormon, so I assume they're going to be pregnant again. But yeah, it'll be interesting to go through their socials. So I'll have a video on that.
I am absolutely shocked that Whitney unfollowed her.
Are we though, Macy? Are we absolutely shocked?
Even more so, I am so surprised she didn't tell me at least.
Why? This must be scripted to some, not literally scripted, but Whitney always does stuff without telling anyone. That's literally Whitney's MO.
We have mocktails.
Alcohol-free.
Alcohol-free.
Love it.
But I named them all. And then this is the activity. We're gonna be painting and then I have snacks.
Okay, the names of these are hilarious and disgusting. Delicious. Peach on the beach. And then we've got pink.
You know, I think I recall a time in my life, probably just out of my conservative bubble and heading into my liberal bubble, where I thought genitals were like funny and disgusting. I think not quite in, I don't know how she means it when she says like they're funny and disgusting, but isn't that funny? She's just like, it's just genitals. And we're like, ew, but also like, the rebellion in the religious bubbles is to talk about genitals.
Makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
You know what I mean, girls? Like, talk about a pattern of sheltering your children, and they come into the adult world, and their idea of rebellion is just to name drinks. I love a on the beach. You know, I do love that cocktail. And I know they're drinking mocktails because they're Mormon. To name the mocktail simply Leah and have it be like, oh, it's so disgusting. What's disgusting about Leah? But also, it is crass. It is like very young. It's very like rebellious. It's very like, ooh, you know?
This is what you're gonna be painting. I want you to put creativity, passion. I want you to pretend that you are Michelangelo, okay?
Yeah, I know this feeling. I know the feeling of making it a big deal, something that is so not a big deal. But then I remember like, I just recently put out a video about get diagnosed autistic, and I wore this red dress that I think is like really cute and, you know, very Christmas themed. And I think I look good in red, and I was like, okay, my boobs are boobing, and I wear this dress, and I blocked some people who left comments like, this dress is inappropriate, you shouldn't dress like that, da 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 da. And I do forget sometimes that in some bubbles, like having your boobs out is immodest. But then that's why I comment on these girls being in religious bubbles with their boobs out, because I get it on YouTube. Like, I get pushback on YouTube when my boobs are out, and they're doing it in the Mormon bubble, which is why it's very confusing to me. Because yeah, if I went home to my parents' house, like, I can't have my boobs out. Like, I can't even send my family a picture of me in that dress. They will be so mad at me because like my boobs are out. But when I go on YouTube and I have my boobs out, I don't expect the same backlash because I'm not in a religious bubble on YouTube. Like, I don't even think religious people really watch me. So I don't think about it. But there's going to be misogynistic pushback. I assume those messages are from men who are like, women, you know, shouldn't dress like that or whatever. But those are so I block those people, right? Who cares? But the rebellion out of the religious conservative bubbles is not an exaggeration, but sort of a sensationalism of the body, of the nudity, of the immodesty. Like, I wonder if having their boobs out is a form of rebellion for these girls because they couldn't they can't do those things growing up. You're not supposed to. But then it is sort of ironic that these girls are talking about like who's the most Mormon. Well, their boobs are out. Like that's always kind of funny to me. But I get it. Like shaming and slut shaming is just so prevalent in society. But it's interesting that I get it on YouTube. They get it, I guess. And they must get it in their communities. I heard you guys told me in the comment sections that the Mormon church has denounced the show and denounced the girls, which makes sense. Obviously, I don't think they're a good example of Mormons, unless they are. But also, like, hopefully Mormons have... I'm trying to view it from the Mormon bubble. So obviously, if I viewed it from my bubble, like, I don't really care if their boobs are out, right? Like, I'm positive, but I'm trying to view it from their bubble of what they're trying to represent. Like, if I was viewing a conservative that said they're homophobic, but in private we're dating same people, I'd be like, I'm not mad you're gay. I'm mad you're homophobic in public, right? So that's how I'm trying to view the girls, just to be clear from my perspective. And it just feels silly, I think, to be like, I'm Mormon. I'm the most Mormon. Also, look at my boobs.
So the reason we're gonna do this is because on Monday, I'm getting a labiaplasty.
Oh, interesting. For the record, ladies, labia is beautiful, long, short, whatever you're doing. Labiaplasties are really interesting. I learned about labiaplasties when I was 15 and I was reading The Godfather, Mario Puzo. There's a labiaplasty in the book. I don't know why. But that's when I kind of like learned about reconstruction for cis women, that I was like, oh, that's interesting. So she's getting a labiaplasty. That's very interesting. Yeah. Ooh. Like that. Okay. So fun fact, the history of labiaplasty is also enforced by the industry, and the shortening, like the choice for porn industries to use larger penis and shorter labiaed vaginas is a part of why people get labiaplasties or feel insecure about their genitalia in general. So remember that the marketing is getting to us, that the marketers convince us that like long labia is like disgusting or something, or looks like a jellyfish, which by the way, who doesn't love a jellyfish? But I think that's important to recognize, because I know marketing can get to us, whether we're on Instagram and seeing people with filters or plastic surgery, or we're watching porn and we see like and short labia and then big penis, and then we wonder like what's wrong with us. Nothing. Genitalia comes in all shapes and sizes. There was an erotic Seattle Erotic Arts Festival artist, though this has been done a billion trillion times. There's like documentaries, there's like, I've seen things over the last 10 years of artists I remember seeing at these these like art shows I would go to, who did like picture by picture of genitalia just to show how diverse genitalia is. And it really, really is. So, you know, I'm all about plastic surgery. If you want to get it, just make sure you're getting it for you, and not because the market has convinced you to spend your money for something that is so personal and intimate, right? Like, these women aren't going to show their genitalia to the public. It's just for their partners. So, you know, I get it if you want it for yourself, but just remember to do it for you, and not because you've seen it depicted somewhere else and you feel like it's not good enough. It is good enough.
Pregnancy kind of pushes it out, and mine decided to stay there. And now after having 2
Okay, so she's doing it post-pregnancy, which I think is like a valid thing. Okay.
kids, even though physically I feel like I look back to normal, there are things that will never be the same. I've noticed a big difference down there, to the point where it's uncomfortable.
Okay, if she's feeling comfortable, if she can't wear yoga pants, if she's literally insecure about it, I'm all about it, girl. Get it done, girl.
I am also planning a girls trip for us to go to Vegas for Layla's birthday, so it's the perfect time to do it. Whitney started unfollowing all of us. She's not coming to Vegas, and I think we have a good chance of it just being a good time.
I'm excited, but also a little nervous. Vegas isn't a typical place where I feel like LDS people like to go. It's just partying, drinking, gambling, which are things that typical members don't do on a daily basis, maybe behind closed doors, but I'm just buckling up and hoping for the best.
So obviously I had this thought that this party, the Vegas party, anything that feels like, sometimes I think we watch reality TV and don't realize that they do have to do this for the show. So there's something for us to watch. Because realistically, I kept thinking, like, these women have children and they're busy in the community. How do they have time for this? But I think they have to make time for it. So there's something for us to actually watch. I remember I used to watch HGTV all the time, and eventually it just got really dramatic and there was like fighting. And I remember thinking, like, why isn't it just home repair? Like, why is it a drama show? A big part of it is because as much as we talk about not wanting to see the drama, the views say otherwise. And I hate to say it, but I think this is the reality as a YouTuber. It's the reality as a lot of people. Now, there are ways to make it about the drama that isn't about you directly being the drama, right? So I think the girls, some of them, like Layla is a good example, they do try to stay away from being the drama, but I think it's difficult because then somebody has to be. So Whitney right now, she's the drama. And that helps. The first episode, Taylor would have been the drama, right? But it's kind of nice that it's Whitney to some extent, but also kind of sad. I really do think like you would probably benefit from some therapy. I do wonder what's wrong with her, but you can see she's distinctly different from everybody else. Like she really, even if the cameras are cutting stuff up in a particular way, the way the girls are talking about her, the way the relationship feels. I also agree that this Vegas trip will probably not have drama because Whitney's not there. What will be interesting though, is if Whitney isn't there, does drama occur because it has to for the show or because there's actually somebody else in the group that will cause it? I don't think so, but it'll be interesting if they do have a Vegas trip that basically has no drama. Now, the only drama I could predict that could happen is, I forget which girl drinks, but if one of the girls ends up drinking alcohol and there's a problem there since Mormons don't drink.
Dakota, like, you're pregnant with my child and you still are not giving me the yes. So in his head,
did he get her pregnant to trap her in marriage? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, did he do this to get her to marry him?
I'm scared of marriage, and that's just the truth of it. I think it's frustrating to him, and I think it makes him want it more, that I don't want it. It's
Ew.
sad, but maybe it's true.
Is he texting you? Call him on your phone. I'll talk. I'll say.
Oh, okay, good. Because I don't want to talk.
Hey, this is Dakota. I'm not here right now.
He texted
Give me
me.
a call.
I'm not going to answer.
Say, okay, I'm going to labor. And then he'll call you back and
No.
then you don't.
Trash behavior. Trash behavior. That's not funny. That's not even funny a little bit.
Text him that, say, I'm going to.
There's literally, that's zero funny. You know, as parents don't want to take responsibility for how their kids turn out. But sometimes I look at the parents like, that's a horrible thing to say. Like that's the life of a child. Like ultimately saying like, oh, you're going into labor. I can't believe I even have to say it out loud. She's the adult in the room, the most adult. They're both adults, but she's supposed to be more of the adult. And she's telling her to prank him about going into labor for their child that they share, whose life could be, you know what I mean? Like it seems so irresponsible. I can't even believe this isn't funny. Oh, see, I have no sense of humor here. I zero sense of humor. Don't like it. Oh, I'm frustrated. That's not funny.
I think I'm going into labor.
No, see, I think I'm going into labor. Your loss. Like ridiculous. This is so toxic. How embarrassing. This is just so embarrassing. Trash. This is why people think Taylor's trash.
Your loss. Oh, he's calling me.
Answer it.
You're answering
I know, just answer it.
God.
Why aren't you answering the phone when you're.
Dude, is Taylor going into labor or not?
I don't know. I'm trying to call you and you
Wow. And you're not even answering. I don't know.
not even answering. What that's not cool.
You know the story, the boy who cried wolf, right?
Exactly.
Yes, but I'm only doing this today.
Okay. I just want to make sure you know that story.
Yeah, and you should be here.
Hey, well, that's your daughter's fault.
Oh,
She doesn't want me to go, so why would I go?
Well, I wanted you to come here. I wanted to talk to you guys. Both of you need to
It doesn't matter.
work on
I'm
this.
I'm all in at least, Leanne. Like, I'm sorry, I just am. Like, you know it too. I'm all in. So, there's only so much I can do with that.
It's not about just you and Taylor anymore. And I tell Taylor this just as much. It's about your baby, and you need to do things, for your baby and try to work on your relationship. And
are her shoes on the couch? Maybe they're inside slippers, but are her shoes on the couch?
family and everything that comes with having a kid.
I've been busting my ass. I've literally been trying to show Taylor over and over that I'm in this, and especially with the baby coming, like, Leanne, that's all I care about.
You guys need to get your crap together.
Yeah, well, just tell your daughter she needs to either commit to me or just...
Ugh, this whole conversation's so undignified to me. Don't they have like counselors in the Mormon religion or something? Don't they have people like they can go to? But also, this is why like you need to get your crap together. I do think this is like very crass.
end this, because I can't keep doing this.
I am not ready to get married to Dakota, but at the same time, I don't want to be the divorced single mom, so I feel just like kind of torn in the middle. I'm frustrated, I'm exhausted, and I'm tired. I just don't have the tolerance right now. That's what I deal with every day.
Recovery might be a little bit rough, but I'm excited to just get it over with and only have to recover once.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a big deal. Good for her, though, for getting it done and having hopefully a good doctor who got it done. That's a lot of work.
So what's the recovery process look like?
It's like having a baby, 6
Oh.
weeks of like
Yeah.
bleeding, but it hasn't been super heavy.
And how long do you have to wait to like have sex?
Like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having a baby. Yeah.
Well, 4 to 6 weeks is not a long time. Like recovering from surgery, girl, I'm gonna need like 2 months. Like it feels like that feels to me like not a long time to recover from surgery.
Are you gonna be able to do Vegas?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to Vegas.
Oh my God, I could never. Oh my God, I hope she's okay because I couldn't even imagine going to Vegas or even leaving my house after a surgery. So I hope it's safe for her to do that, but I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle being away from my house, being away from my doctors. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Vegas is a perfect place for us modern Mormon women who are stepping out of the social norms to make some head-turning content and let loose and just have a fun time.
Taylor's coming, I think.
In fact, I think Zach is driving with Dakota.
Oh, are they coming too?
Because Dakota doesn't want to be away from Taylor. He wants to at least be in the same city just in case she goes into labor.
in Vegas. I see right through this bullshit. I think that Dakota and Zach came up with a little plan on how they were going to keep their women in line.
I mean, maybe. Vegas is such a weird place to go as a Mormon. Even as a non-Mormon and a person who left the church at 19 as a former Catholic, like I have never been to Vegas as an adult. Like I have zero interest. But to be fair, I don't drink and I'm not interested in gambling and I don't care about nightlife. And so I've never been to Vegas. I mean, I think I've gone to Circus when I was a kid because my parents went and my parents didn't gamble. Like I did go to a casino with my dad once and he gave me $20 when I was an adult, but we were really there for the buffet. The only time I've been to a casino as an adult is for the buffet. So yeah, it's not my bubble. I don't like it. I could never imagine spending my hard-earned money on a Vegas trip, but no judgment. But yeah, like not... I'm more like, let's go to Sedona and see the mountains in Arizona. Let's go to the Grand Canyon. Let's go camping. Let's go to the art museums. Like, I'm not interested in Vegas at all.
Yeah, no, should I show you? Do you guys want to see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Spread wide open.
Spread it open. Spread it open. I haven't really looked at it today, but so like it's swollen, but like
It looks so good.
You know, they are all very comfortable with each other. And I appreciate that energy. It is nice to be comfortable with your body around other people. Good for them.
How would you feel if we went to a Magic Mike concert?
Do you want to go to that?
No, I think it's more of like a funny thing if we do end up going.
Being divorced and taking care of 2 kids would be kind of tough, so I guess you make the decision.
You said you're playing poker.
Well, you told me that you were going to give me a bankroll so I could play.
Zach gambling situation. Is it okay for us to talk about it?
What is happening? I am uncomfortable.
Yes, as long as we're not making it as like he's like an addict. I'm giving you $2,500 and I'm gonna be really pissed if you lose it.
If I lose it, then
You're gonna lose it. The house always wins. Everybody knows this.
You can never gamble again.
then I won't gamble the rest of the year.
Why do men like to gamble? You're all so bad at it. Why do men pretend they're good at gambling? You're all bad at it. Every single one of you is bad at it.
I have a really hard time in my relationship with Zach.
Oh.
I'm just telling you right now, I would appreciate your help because
I know,
you know how
but
stressful it is for me to
Wait, skirt second. Wasn't this the couple that was like, oh, you can't invite your non-Mormon friends to the event? Oh, her mom works at the hospital like his dad does, except her mom cleans and his dad is a doctor. Like, what is happening? So much for this relationship being a good one. Not that I am here to judge, but like also I don't like his energy right now, so I'm getting a like protective defensive of her.
work and take care of
Sweetie.
2 of the kids because like
I mean, just a reminder, she is paying for his schooling, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but from my memory.
Zach can be a bit controlling, but to be honest, I don't think I've ever met anyone who loves me more than he does.
Ooh, that does not mean what you think it means. He can be a little controlling, but I've never met someone who loves me as much as he does. Okay, so the only person you've met who's loved you as much as he does is still controlling. It's like when you're in a toxic cycle, I'm not saying she is, right? That's not my business. But like when people are in toxic cycles, they go from one toxic relationship to a better toxic relationship. And they're like, well, this toxic relationship treats me better. It's still a toxic relationship.
Well, this will be the first time in a minute, right?
Yeah, this will be the first time in like 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited.
For the record, like I did not marry a gambler. I do not gamble. It's like a part of my no-go. Like I can't be with somebody who gambles. Like I'm not interested. It's one thing to have fun on occasion, meaning like one every few years. But like even that, I can even tell you, I think I bought a lottery ticket like 10 years ago when I was dating a person who bought lottery tickets every time they were in a new city 12 years ago. Yeah, like I don't gamble. It's not interesting to me. And just like think about the relationship people have with gambling. You do.
It's annoying they're even coming to begin with. Controlling men in general, just like give me the ick so bad. Like, like seriously, like I don't know. It's just disgusting to me. I am not happy that Dakota is coming to Vegas. Clearly, I mean,
I do think it's risky for Taylor to be going anywhere away from her hospital, though. When's her delivery due date? I don't know, but aren't you supposed to stay near your doctor, like your residence and your doctor, close to your delivery date? Maybe she's further off than I think. Utah and Vegas aren't exactly the furthest from each other. Obviously, they're all in the same three. I call them like the trifecta, like the three areas there. So it's not like I've driven through those areas a billion times in my life.
we're not on the best terms, and I also have some information that may confirm all my reasoning for not liking him.
What?
Taylor's so close to her due date, she can't fly.
Then why are they taking the risk? Like if she's so close to her due date, she can't fly, then why in the world would they drive? That's so risky. Are they hoping she goes into labor for a good episode?
And so she's actually having to drive to Vegas, and Zach and I are happy to join them. Are you guys ready for us?
Almost? Yeah, we got in a pretty big fight.
Oh my gosh, what happened?
He's like always pouting, and so I'm like, I just feel it's so repetitive of like making him feel better, and if it's not today, it's like in 2 days, and so I'm like, there's nothing I can do for you anymore, and he's like, you just don't care, like you're not helping me through this, and I'm like, but like I don't know how to help you, and so he's like thinking as if I don't care, and I'm just exhausted. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm delivering a baby in 18 days, like,
yeah.
I'm exhausted, and I just don't know how you're the one here crying every 2 days. I literally like
You left him at home. You said, see ya.
No, I said, get out of my car. And then I was like, come get your stuff. And he's like, nah. And then I get all his shit and I throw it out of my car and I leave. He did send me a text and he said, like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what's going on. I just feel so broken and lost right now.
Sir needs to go to therapy, bro. Well, they obviously shouldn't be going to Vegas, bro.
Right now, I feel very fed up. I need time out of our cycle. I'm just so exhausted. I'm so pregnant. I feel very like, how are we doing this when I'm this far along? Like we're this close, and it's embarrassing for, you know, everyone to know and see, and I just feel really tired and fed up.
Oh, hello. I do have to ask, do you want to go to Vegas? Like, do you want to work this out in Vegas?
Yeah, more than anything, like the biggest reason why I even wanted to go is,
Man, even the way he sits, like the way he like slumps, the way he like lets the couch eat him. He does seem to be going through something. He's disheveled, he's ungroomed. He looks like he needs assistance, but I think he keeps going to the wrong person for it, which is Taylor. He needs to go to a professional, some kind.
was like, I tailor it, like you had your baby at 36 weeks. Like that, like I also don't want to be not there if something happened.
Awkward to come to your friend's house and then have to have a weird conversation. But also, this does happen in relationships. This is a toxic cycle. They can't seem to be on a team, which is why I always say, like, you got to be on a team with your partner, somebody who is in relationships similar to this. Like, I've been here. Like, my 20s was very similar. The communication styles were off. We were both exhausted. We both felt like, why isn't this working? You know, similarities, right? It wasn't one-to-one, but it was similar. You know, when you're in a relationship where you feel like you're always frustrated with your partner because you can't rely on them. These feelings they're not good. So I think one of the most saving graces is that I never had a child with anybody. Like, I'm really lucky, right? So for me, it was easy enough to eventually break the cycle, much easier than having a shared child, because now they're going to have to be co-parents. But I actually do think it's weird Taylor's willing to travel so close to her due date, but also the fact that, oh shoot, what's the other girl's name? The one who just got the labiaplasty. The fact that she can even move after surgery. I can't tell if these girls are just on a different wavelength, but I could not do that. Like, I would need to just be at home, vegging out.
I'm sorry.
For what?
Just, I don't know. Just,
Ugh.
well, today.
I hate that. I'm sorry. Well, what? For what? Just today? Look how sleepy he looks, bro. His eyes are red. He's got, his beard isn't taken care of. His hair's a mess. She's obviously tired. It feels like nobody in anyone's life like cares enough about them to be like, hey, we seriously have to like get some stuff figured out. But then look at Taylor's mom. Look at who Taylor's mother is. Like, she's not any better. It was just so obnoxious because the first few episodes, Taylor's mom was lecturing Taylor. Like, we're not going to do this again. We're not going to put up with it, which is so confusing. Because a part of me is like, you're also trashy. No offense, no judgment. I mean, it's judgment. I am judging you. But I'm judging you in the way that I think most people aren't prepared to be parents. I think most people are bad parents because they raise their kids to be just without any sense of understanding of the world and how to treat people with dignity. But how could Taylor learn to treat people well when her mother doesn't treat her well enough? Like, I mean, everyone's doing well enough. If we zoom out, humanity does what it's going to do. But if we zoom in, like, I hate all of their dynamics. The toxicity levels are just silly. It's just silly amounts of toxicity.
I just feel like I just like broke down.
I understand that you're struggling.
Obviously, I'm like, I have a lot of frustration inside of me. And the way I feel is like really just lost and confused. And I don't think I should feel confused.
What are you feeling lost and confused about?
With us.
Okay.
And like, I don't want to feel that way. Like, I shouldn't have to feel that way. Like, I just want to feel like we have each other's backs and we're like on a team. And sometimes I feel like we're not teammates.
Definitely not teammates. Like, definitely 100% not on the same team. The dilemma is he can't force somebody to be on his team. And he's been forcing Taylor in some ways, but Taylor is also making decisions. Like, the decision to get pregnant is beyond irresponsible. Like, I'm assuming they're having unprotected sex, which is why they got pregnant. The fact that they weren't probably getting tested, the way the relationship started, everything that was happening. The dilemma is like, how can you be on a team with somebody that you're not even sure about and you've never been sure about? You can't. You have to trust your teammate to have your back. And that's not going to happen if you don't have that trust. And that goes for if you talk to guys in the military, teammates on a football team, or your married spouse. If you do not have trust in your teammates to catch you when you fall, there is no team. And Taylor just doesn't trust him. There is no team. So then he's sitting here not understanding that, which is a little frustrating that he doesn't understand. You cannot force the team. She has to believe you're going to be there, that you're reliable. And he feels like he's showing up and he's reliable. But the dilemma is that the reliability is based off of a flimsy foundation. And they don't know how to rebuild a better foundation. They don't have the tools. No one in this show has exhibited any knowledge about rebuilding the foundation, so it's solid. And I couldn't necessarily give you those tools because I do think this is where professionals come in, because there's a lot to deconstruct first and foremost before even understanding why the flimsy foundation was built in the first place. Like, this is why I say a professional needs to come in. Because you and me, like, I don't have the psychological knowledge to get these people to move through their childhoods and what brought them to this position in the first place to help them build that foundation. Like, I don't know.
We're just not.
I just don't know what else you like want from me.
I want to feel like you want this with me, and to show me that, and to show me that you care.
Dakota, he wants marriage, and in the LDS religion, you're born and raised and you're taught this way.
I'm so frustrated by this cut. Taylor has said this like 7 times in the last 3 episodes. We get it. I think she's doing that thing too. I don't know if you guys do this. When somebody is in their feelings or is having a moment, you end up becoming more stoic, but it's kind of like a disassociation. So I don't know if she's actually like understanding him, or if she's just too tired, or she's trying to stay calm so there's not 2 people going kind of hysterical. I'm just so surprised that nobody's been recorded giving them the advice that they really need. Which is like, you need to go to somebody who really knows, like, marriage counseling. This is what marriage counseling is for.
I just feel like when we have like good days, then we just start over. There's something else. So it's like hard to give in to someone when you know you're gonna like backtrack in a few days.
Then I don't know how, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Should we continue this conversation?
Yeah,
on the
let's get
road?
going.
Yeah,
then.
I
sorry.
mean, 5 hours is a lot of time for us to...
A lot of time to hash it out.
Everybody's perspective, it seems a bit toxic.
A bit. And I want to make it clear to you guys, I don't think it's like Taylor's fault or Dakota's fault. I think it started before them. Like, they didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. They exist in the context of all that came before them. and their parents came before them. Their lives came before them. Like, they were set up in many ways to be these people because they weren't given the tools. And so now they have to decide if they're going to break the generational curse or contribute to breaking it by realizing they weren't given the tools. I mean, Taylor's mom exhibited it in this episode. She didn't give Taylor the tools, and she continues to deny Taylor the tools of good and healthy communication. I mean, she literally told her to text Dakota, "I'm in labor." That's a crazy thing to text somebody when your relationship is already strained.
It is so cold.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know I do.
I love you too.
I love you too much. That's my whole issue, is I care way too much.
I hope these videos save you from these relationships. Or at least if you're in them right now, you realize that and you get out. Or you go to marriage counseling and figure it out. Even if you're not married, right? Marriage counseling is just relationship counseling at the end of the day. This is so negative and a red flag. I care too much about you. This isn't caring. This is like toxic love. Toxic love is a form of love, but there's a reason it's toxic. I care too much. I have to, because I love you so much. I have to suffocate you. I have to disrespect your boundaries. I have to force something on you. I am fully convinced that they got pregnant irresponsibly and maybe secretly in the back of his head so he could keep Taylor. I hate this dynamic. And again, I don't need to point blame at either of them. They're both complicit in consenting to the toxic relationship, and they're both without the tools to get out of it. And it doesn't help that their friends and family around them are like kind of not helpful. See, I will say that my family and friends around me would say, like, break up. You guys aren't working out. Make it work. Like, this isn't working. Or they'd say, go to counseling. They'd say something. And maybe that's not helpful for some people. But like right now, we are witnessing a toxic relationship on TV. And it's being used for drama, which is like, I get it. But this is really a lot of people's lives. This was certainly my 20s. And I thought, is this normal? Is this how everyone's dating? But yet I didn't see my parents have these fights. Like, my parents don't have a toxic relationship. So I forgot that I could use my parents as an example of what I could aim for. And now that I do that, it's much better because obviously my parents don't fight. They don't call each other names. They do work as a team. They share money. Everything they do is theirs together as one. And that's a much better way of doing a relationship. But you need a healthy foundation to start off with, and they don't have it.
We're having a baby together. That's a massive commitment. So I'm like, why can't you also commit to like telling me that I'm in this. Like, we're in this together. We ain't like.
The fact that he doesn't know the difference is so a part of the problem. How does he not know the difference? Did they plan this baby? Did they sit down and plan to get pregnant? Did they sit down and say, I'm so excited to make a baby with you. Let's make a baby. Or did they accidentally get pregnant, be put in a situation that if they hadn't had a baby together, probably they would have broken up? And that's the question. Are we together because we're having a baby? Or are we together because we want to be?
But do you see how we fight one moment and then we're like good and then it's just that normal?
Well,
no.
It's a
well, it's normal, but it's bad. And he said, no, it's a cycle. We're in a cycle. They are in a cycle. And it could end up being their whole marriage if they're not careful.
cycle. We're in a cycle.
Yeah, so it is toxic. It's called
toxic
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I think that's the.
See how she kind of pansied out of the answer? It's called a toxic relationship. He, just kidding. No, it is. It literally is a toxic relationship. This is what I mean by toxic. This is a toxic relationship. And again, not that anybody's to blame, but no one's taking responsibility for it either.
The whole point is it really can be as simple as like, once you break a cycle, it's like, I feel like that's how you heal and like work through things. But cycles are so hard to break.
They are.
And I know a baby can either make or break that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's
I'm
definitely
really
going to
hoping
test
on
you
the,
guys
or the
on-
make side.
Yeah.
That makes it because
Yeah.
It tests your relationship to a whole other level.
And it's Jen. Why I'm
You're a
not.
big girl. You can do whatever you want.
Woo!
Wait, do you mean that?
No, not at all.
Oh, I was like, really?
I feel like when Zach's around all of us, he tries to play it cool, like, oh yeah, Jen can do whatever she wants, but inside, you know, he's freaking out. This is a time for us to just let loose and have fun and relax and go out and not have to worry about our husbands in general, and I feel like he's already ruining that.
Yeah, this idea is really interesting as well because like I don't really ever want to be away from my partner, but if I'm having a girls' night without my partner, which I'm sure will happen, like, you know, if my siblings come to visit me and we go out alone or whatever, we're also not, well, we like, first of all, trust each other, but also more than that, we don't have a religion getting in the way of our behavior. I think like we're forgetting how much religion is supposed to play a role here, or at least I'm confused because Zach, this is why I'm upset with modern religious bubbles. Make a decision. Are we religious and making decision for religious reasons? Or are we not religious? Because Zach is the reason the girls didn't get invited to his baby's baptism because they're not religious enough. But then he's in Vegas. And of course, like from a religious standpoint, he wouldn't want his wife to go out and be Vegas. But also, why are they even in Vegas? Like, it's all very confusing to me. So obviously, like in my relationship, if I'm out with the girls, like I don't have a religious standard that I have to adhere to. I have a secular relationship that's been negotiated. So we just do what's within the negotiation, right? Like we're monogamous. I'm not going to go somewhere and make out with somebody, right? Like that would be inappropriate. But it feels like as a religious person, even being in Vegas itself is inappropriate in a lot of bubbles. So I'm just confused at the standard of expectation.
It's been like 9 days of us like just like not getting along.
What are you thinking?
So I have a secret that I've been holding in for a little bit.
If it's something that could, I'm a little annoyed. If it's a secret, like Dakota cheated and she didn't tell Taylor right away, I'm a little annoyed with her. Because like I understand there are reasons sometimes not to tell people. Maybe they don't want to hear it. Maybe, you know, your friends are in a toxic relationship and you tell them and they're even more mad at you. So they break off your friendship with you. It doesn't matter. Like if she knows Dakota cheated and she knows Taylor is really strict about that and she didn't tell Taylor, I'm going to be very annoyed with her.
And as Taylor is telling her story of her and Dakota fighting, at this point, I feel like I have to tell somebody or else I'm gonna die inside.
What's hard for you in this situation is you feel like you're walking on eggshells because I've gone through the same thing with Zach.
Ugh. Feeling like you're walking on eggshells with your partner, red flag. I don't like it. Regardless of gender, that's not a feeling you should have with a partner. And that's the problem. Now, obviously, we're assuming that no one is like super malicious or Machiavellian in this situation and that they are simply like kind of young and don't know what to do. But that feeling is a good indication for us to slow down and be like, I'm sorry that I'm creating an environment in which you feel like you should walk on eggshells. Let's re-examine where we are. Let's like recalibrate where we are. Now, of course, you're able to do this in a healthy relationship where people are self-aware enough. But a toxic relationship, it's much harder. And then you don't know if your toxic partners or you yourself are blinding yourself to your actions. And so it takes a lot of work. That's why you go to a counselor who helps you kind of zoom out and say, hey, I've observed this and this and this in you. And you have to go to a counselor that's really, really good, because if you are in a Machiavellian, like abusive relationship, they're going to need to suss out that partner and separate you from them. But if they can't suss it out, then they're going to give you advice for a healthy couple, because there is a difference between a healthy couple that's having a hard time who's trying and a really toxic couple where one person is sabotaging, is gaslighting, is abusing in like a really active and participatory way, in which the therapist, if they don't see it, they're going to give you advice that don't work for you. They're going to give you advice that works for like healthy-ish or healthy couples who want to be healthy but are toxic, who aren't gaslighting, aren't abusing, aren't actually trying to do that, but they actually are trying to work on themselves. And so that's what's scary about choosing the wrong counselor, especially if you choose a misogynistic one or a misandrist one or somebody who's going to take your side just because they relate to you. It can be really dangerous.
Like 2 days, they're coming
It's
to us
something
and
else.
people think that they're controlling or being overly protective. Like that's their fault for portraying themselves that way. I just think you guys need to go to therapy if you...
Yes. Oh, yes, Jen. Thank you. You guys need to go to therapy if you want to make it work. Thank you, girl. Thank you.
Want to make it work. I mean, that's what Zach and I have done, and therapy
Okay.
has been a game changer. But
Okay, that's good. So now we've got a couple who did therapy, a couple who's suggesting therapy, and a couple who said that it's helped.
Still.
Yeah.
I know Zach has a lot of his flaws. He can be a bit controlling and a bit judgmental. I think his issue is that he loves and cares too much.
No, he's insecure, has no standard, and isn't man enough to admit it. It has nothing to do with I care too much. I care too much is not the reason. I care too much, so I'm going to suffocate you is your own fear. It's like helicopter parents. I love my kid so much, I'm going to damage my child in the name of I care so much. You don't care. You're insecure, and you're toxic and you're creating a bad environment and you're using the excuse that I care too much. You do not care too much.
Do you guys want to get ready and then we can kind of continue to talk because we have to be ready in like an hour and a half?
Wait, what's the plan?
So I got us tickets for something. I'm not gonna let you guys know yet, but everyone has to come because it's kind of for later.
It's definitely going to be like an inappropriate, definitely not for church going girls event. I'm assuming a Chippendales adjacent thing.
Layla's birthday, since it's her birthday soon.
So my husband approve.
In the eyes of God, you should be fine.
Okay. Oh, in the eyes of God, you should be fine. Okay.
Because my God's chill.
Whitney didn't come to Vegas, but like she is necessary part of this group and I miss her.
If Macy confides her secret in Whitney, I'm going to be so annoyed with her. Because Macy was like trying to be there for Taylor. But if Macy confides her secret in Whitney and not in Taylor about Taylor's relationship, I'm going to be so... This is the episode of toxicity. That's what I'm going to call it. This episode is nothing but toxicity revealed.
Good. I really wish Whitney could just make amends with all the girls, but I have a feeling that's not gonna happen.
Thanks so much for having us. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. So tell me why you wanted to come.
I just feel like we're so gravitated towards this life, and I don't really know much about it.
What exactly is a homestead?
It's up to the individual or the family to decide like how far they're going to take that. Like,
We want a farm. There's been so much drama in our life because of this mom talk group, and I just want to get away from that.
It's every day. It's 365 days a year, but it's very rhythmic, and it's only about an hour, hour and a half of work every day to take care of as many animals as I have.
That's
It's
not
a
bad.
lot.
Why did I think it would take all day?
It doesn't.
Tell me why you chose to not go to Vegas.
Everybody clearly saw how my conversation with Jesse went down. Jesse had told me that everybody was talking about me behind my back. That hurt. And I know that a lot of them know that Jesse told me all of those things, but yet nobody cares to clear the air. Nobody cares to...
Man, she's always like, I expect everyone else to fix my problems but me. And the homesteading thing is such a cope for people. I'm going to be a homesteader. I'm going to run away from the life that isn't working for me. Typical. I'm going to live in a cabin. I'm going to live in the woods. Guys, please, with peace and love, listen to me. Stop running away from your life and just change it for the better by moving forward. When we run away, we're moving backwards. Or even worse, we're like moving side to side. Like we need to move forward with our lives. Homesteading isn't going to save Whitney's life. Moving to the country isn't going to save your life. Like, don't get me wrong. Moving environments can be helpful. But if you move to an environment without doing the work, you're just going to bring the work with you. You feel me?
So I guess they're not really my friends.
Do we go look at some more animals? Let's do it.
Okay.
I kind of came up with when I was bored one day, just so people can confess their sins.
Toxic. Don't like it. Whatever it is, I hate it already.
I thought, what better today to do it than Sunday? So it became a little thing where every week I would...
This isn't a secret. This is it could be a troll. It could be someone anonymous. This is so silly and also inappropriate.
I'd post and people could anonymously confess.
I hate those TikTok videos where it's like, tell us a secret no one knows about you. And it's just like, I don't like it.
Their sins. And so that's when I got the confession about Dakota. What's going on? A month ago, I got this confession. You know, I do like those anonymous Q&A confessions, and I didn't tell anyone. I don't know what to do.
What's the confession?
It says I accidentally slept with Dakota before I knew he and Taylor were together.
Okay, first of all, the fact that she would tell everyone but Taylor, hate that. And I think it's bad behavior. And I think it's bad friend behavior. And I just think it's horrible. But also I get like Taylor's getting close to delivery, so maybe she just want to put stress on Taylor, which could also make sense. But I still don't like it.
And it says, I only met Taylor once, and I'm terrified to tell her, but I know she has a right to know, ... help, with like a emoji.
Do you think the DM might have been from Jenna?
Look, it says who sent this, but if you click
You didn't show Taylor.
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you guys. Like, should I say something to her?
I would.
I have no idea.
Wow, I thought Whitney being away would keep the drama down, but I was wrong. But also, this is like a big deal. This is what Taylor was afraid of the whole time. But also, an anonymous confession from someone online makes me nervous because then it feels very like talk about high school. Instead of like sending an email or doing something like that or confronting Dakota and having Dakota have to admit it. It's interesting that she sent it to Macy's confessions, which means it could be fake. It could be a boy. It could be a 12-year-old. We don't know who it is.
Who sent in this anonymous confession, but I have an idea that it could be Jenna. She is a girl that Dakota dated before Taylor and him were together, but he was also seeing Jenna and Taylor at the same time. And so that's why there's this contention and issues in their relationship.
I mean, she literally just got done saying that if there was something that came up, she'd be done and she'd walk away.
100,000% would be dead to me.
Situation where it's like, if she finds out and the baby comes and they get married, she would probably divorce him.
No, I know.
So I would probably tell her
that I do not trust Dakota, and this DM is the perfect example of why I'm right. I don't know if that's...
Well, it's not a DM, just a reminder, so she can't trace who wrote it. But it could be true, and that's why Dakota feels like he's getting eaten up from the inside. And it could be true because Taylor's intuition is telling her, and the data she has, that something isn't right. So it's probably, I could believe it's true. It's hard to say, but I would tell her.
That's true or not, but it makes me worry. And I know at this point that I need to tell Taylor, but I'm worried because we're days away from her having a baby. We're in Vegas in an Airbnb. I don't want her giving birth in our Airbnb. Like, I have anxiety right now just thinking.
Yeah, but she knew before the Vegas trip. She knew this before the Vegas trip. So she could have told her before they all got here. But I get hesitating. Life is hard. I get it. I understand. Like, as simple as I'd like to pretend it isn't simple. And sometimes you have to sit on stuff before you tell people, because it could not be real. And if it's not real, then she's putting unnecessary stress on Taylor before the baby.
What do you think of your friends and family's assertion regarding homesteading is just another version of Hawaii?
I hate that everyone says I'm like running away. There's a difference between running away and just like removing yourself from a toxic environment.
There is a difference, and Whitney isn't doing it. There is 100% a difference between running away and distracting yourself and actually changing your life. And I see the difference. I talk about this a lot on stream, where people are like, oh my gosh, like I want to live on a forest. I want to live in a cabin. I want to like make my own food and grow my own vegetables. And the reason I know they're dreaming is because they don't understand the responsibility it actually takes. Even this woman saying like, oh, homesteading takes an hour and a half a day. It's not an hour and a half a day when you're brand new. You're starting out. You don't know what you're doing. It's not an hour and a half a day when you literally have never done this in your life. And it certainly isn't cheap, and it certainly isn't as accessible as people make it out to be. Like, as much as they want to pretend it only takes me an hour and a half a day. Sure, if you're literally used to it and you've been doing it for 10 years and it's like something that's second nature to you. So I think sometimes we oversell the things we've accomplished because we forget how long it took us to get there, or we think it's easy and accessible for us to just, you have to really, I've been talking to my partner about this. I don't know what this phenomenon is called, except maybe I just mean it for like people who are serious about their choices. But sometimes I feel like I live in bubbles where people talk a big game about doing stuff they never do. Or they say, oh yeah, this is what I do for a job, but they don't do it for a job. The only clients are their friends and family because they feel bad that their business isn't taking off. Like I want to be around people that are serious about the things they're doing to some extent, or I want to believe you're serious about it. Like I want to see the product, like I want to see that you're doing it. I want to see the evidence. And with Whitney, I don't see the evidence that she's actually serious about her life and moving forward. All I see is evidence is that she's running away.
I'm not running away. I'm sure the group's doing just fine without me in Vegas, but let's be honest, it's not as fun because I'm not there.
Oh my God, girl, please.
Hopefully husbands don't kill me when they find out, but I think it's gonna be a fun thing for us.
I think Jessie, this is Jessie. I think she's the one who drinks, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So are we gonna talk about what we're doing? Because I'm still confused. Yeah, party bus. We're all ready. How much more anticipation can you?
I don't know. I think we're just gonna show up and then you guys will find out. It's a show.
Guys,
yeah.
They have like such good restaurants.
It's Chippendales.
Oh, you're so
typical.
Oh, right, it's Chippendales.
Where's Chippendales?
She goes, what's Chippendales?
I should have known. I should have known. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed.
You know, you could just like not go. Listen to me when I say this. I grew up in such a religious bubble that it was kind of chill. Some parts of it were definitely chill, but I grew up in a religious bubble where like my family, my parents and my religious siblings don't watch movies with nudity, with girls in scantily clad clothing. They don't watch shows that are provocative. They watch like sitcoms. They don't even tempt themselves in quotation marks. So it's interesting to me that these people like can't even just say, I'm not going, even if it would kill the mood. Like, I don't understand. Like, is God a thing in your life or not? And look, I'm not a big fan of traditional religions, but I'm also not a big fan of hypocrisy. I'm just like not a big fan of following a construct that can be changed, but then adhering to rules. And because I'm assuming these girls are also homophobic, even though they say they're not. Like, you're participating in a homophobic establishment. At the end of the day, if your brand is a homophobic one, you're homophobic, even if you say you're pro-gay. And that's the problem I have with traditional religions and all these other ideas is like, though they bring a lot of people joy, they're also created on the basis of transphobia and homophobia. And Mormonism was also racist. So the idea that you're participating in it just feels very silly to me, especially if it's so loosey-goosey, you can just change it and modernize it. Just get rid of it altogether. Just get rid of it altogether. Why pick and choose what you want your religion to be when you could just like not do it? But then that brings into question, like, who's this God you think you're having a relationship with if you can change the rules whenever you feel like it?
So since it's Layla's birthday weekend and she is recently single and ready to mingle, I thought it would be really fun to get her the VIP package where we go backstage, we get to meet the boys before, and just kind of like...
That's kind of cool. And also shout out to the boys for being in such good shape because wow, that must take a lot of effort. That takes a lot of effort. These boys are in shape.
Loosen up before the show starts.
I also do wonder how many of the men are gay, straight, queer, pansexual.
Look a little dry. Yeah. Why don't you show her how this works? So we
Ooh, gonna get uncomfortable.
lights to kind of like go on the body. So
The touching people stuff makes me a little uncomfortable, but not for any other reason than my own sensory. Like, I don't know about that.
if you just want to put a little bit on your hand and then you can just do the rest.
It's an everyday situation.
Yeah, I wonder, I think about this, like the levels of uncomfortability play into the taboo of the situation, which amplifies people's excitement for being in it. Like, oh no, I don't want to do it. And then, oh, I have to do it though. Like they're making me. It's an interesting sex negative part of the experience. I do think it's ultimately sex negative because it's putting a taboo on the situation in the first place.
Really don't know what to do with myself. Let's try not to make any eye contact. Let's look at the floor and let's just get through this. Girls, what are we doing?
I would say that this I couldn't do this. I wouldn't participate in this. Like this, I think breaks my monogamous relationship. But if I was helping a friend get oiled up for a show and I was being very professional about it, that would be appropriate. And I think that's the difference. Is like, this isn't about professionalism. This is about being a consumer. And I do think that it's weird. Like, I would feel very weird if my partner did this as a consumer. I'd be like, we're not these people. Like, this isn't our life. But if you were very professional, if you're very like, go get it, girl, if you're very encouraging, I think that's different. And I think it's all about the context. Like, I'm not sure that any of their male partners would be happy with the situation. But again, every relationship is different. I think that's the difference between a monogamous one and a non-monogamous one. But also, nothing is a monolithic state of being. So even your relationships can change and they can be negotiated and you can, change the things. I'll ask my partner how they would feel about this. But like, I don't like it. Like, it's not... I also don't think I like the environment in general. Like I said, I do think it's sex negative. So I think I'm having like a double ick. Or part of me is like, I don't think this works. And as a monogamous person, my monogamy. And then on top of that, I don't think I like the sex negativity of it, which is like forcing them or putting people in uncomfortable situations in order to be wild and taboo. But that's when you live in a repressed society, that's how you sell sex as something taboo.
We are married women. Why are we rubbing oil on these men? Oh my gosh.
Are you freaking out about Zach because you're worried?
Well, I'm just worried, like being associated with them, like taking pictures, like it just looks bad. It does not look
It's
bad.
fun.
It literally looks
We're all witnesses. Like,
I definitely think this goes against everything we believe in as Mormons. I think it's disrespectful.
I can't believe she showed up though. I think that's the difference in my bubbles. Like they just wouldn't go. Like my Catholic siblings would be like, I'm not going. They wouldn't even go to Vegas, to be fair. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we did not grow up with Vegas parents. Like you don't go to Vegas. Vegas is the place of sin. So again, I'm trying to come from this like as a religious person because they claim to be religious. It feels weird. It just feels hypocritical. You know what it feels like? It feels like when misogynistic men are like, women are hoes and women are sleeping around and women, a good girl doesn't sleep around and then he goes and sleeps around. And it's like, why do you get to sleep around? And it's like, because I'm the man. It's like, why do you get to go to Chippendales if you're Mormon? And it's because I'm a modern Mormon. It's like, that's what it sounds like to me. It's like, okay, I'm confused. Other people have to play by the rules, but you don't have to because you're exempt.
My husband, it's disrespectful to our marriage. Even though this is all a joke, I do feel like from the church's standpoint, this looks really bad.
There or dance on me is the minute I'm out.
Just say
because
no.
I literally will be a divorced woman. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even just jokingly saying that. Like,
I think it's about values as well. Like, how much does a partner, like if you divorce your partner over cheating, what form of cheating would cause the divorce, right? Like, what form of cheating have you established? Is it watching something, calling somebody, having an emotional affair? Like, what warrants a divorce and cheating? And does this count as cheating? In certain bubbles, for sure.
like I'm literally telling you Zach would literally divorce me over something like this.
Well, then leave. Like, leave. But is this also her values or is this Zach's values? Because values need to be agreed upon. We need to agree that we both value this thing.
Uh-oh. What did you say to him? Did you just tell him what it was?
I was like, it's Chippendales.
Wow. Taylor is like, interesting. Why is she doing that? Is she trying to cause drama or she want attention? Why would she message?
She goes dumb, and I was like, it's just a performance.
I feel bad. Everyone's gonna be like in trouble tonight.
I'm done.
I mean, you don't feel that bad.
And I'm in trouble every day. That's why that's my point today. Is like, okay, today I'm in trouble and tomorrow I'll be in trouble.
And you said that already in your fight. Like tomorrow it'll be something else.
Well, where have you been?
Been talking to Jace.
I didn't realize you'd be upset. Why?
I don't know.
Men do nothing but cause problems.
Interesting. So, okay, multiple people's partners are upset, which makes sense. I mean, certainly is not becoming of a Mormon lady.
It's like mind-boggling to me. These girls are just listening to their husbands and just being like the perfect little Stepford wives.
She's the party mom. That's the thing with Jessie. She is the party Mormon, right? She's like the party mom, but I don't know why she thought this would be funny.
Innocent night. There's nothing to worry about. And if any husbands have weird reactions, then I don't know. I feel like there's something missing in that relationship.
I feel like this is just so disrespectful all around. I feel like it's inviting your Muslim friend to the barbecue and serving them pork. It feels very similar to me. Like, why would you do that?
Because I know my husband isn't gonna care.
This whole scene, I can't.
We're in a lounge with a bunch of girls.
With burgers.
I like how she can't be on TikTok because of the brand, but she's going to be on Netflix or Disney or whatever this is on.
No, but the no boyfriends, the
girls trip.
No boyfriends, no husbands. When it comes to Jen and Zach and their relationship, it is a little alarming to me the way that she talks about how Zach wants things to be a little bit more traditional, especially when it comes to the church. They think that their women owe them doing things a specific way to prove that they are only that man's wife.
Which is why people have a problem with religion, because it's outdated and it's not real. It's not based off anything that's real. Like, God might be real, but I don't think any of you know him. Like, God might be real, but I don't think any of you met him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think any of these people have a relationship with God. I think they have a relationship with what they perceive as God, and that's enough for them, which is why people have a problem with religion. Because you make a show like this and it makes your religion look fake, which makes people say, why be religious then?
Can you just stop for a second and just like think of me as a person and my character?
Just think about me, please. You're a human being. I did nothing wrong in this situation.
Okay, what's going on? I thought he was cool with you being here.
No.
I mean, I'm in trouble.
Like, he doesn't want to be married to me if I do stuff like this.
I hate all their relationships. I mean, not every single one, but this is so toxic.
Oh my gosh, he really does want a divorce. Like, basically, I'm thinking, what did I do?
Good girl, he's horrible. Divorce him. But also, like, divorce this church. Every single one of these women need to leave this church. None of these people around them care about them. I'm sorry, Taylor's mom certainly isn't helping. Like, none of these people seem to care about each other. Not even their own family members. Not their husbands. Like, I don't like it.
Ew.
But where did it go wrong? Because you told him you were here, and you said it was cool.
He just started questioning me and my character and just started saying, like, why would you even put yourself in this situation?
And that could be true if they negotiated prior. Like I said, and I mean this in like the most like before this situation, technically, I'm also surprised she decided to go. Like, don't even go into the building. Go home. Go home. But that's the thing is like when I say like you have values and when temptation comes knocking, you move away from the temptation. I feel like these people don't do that. I feel like they give into the temptation just a little bit and go, well, I didn't go all the way. Yeah, but like you walked into the building. Why'd you even walk into the building if this is so against your values, so against your morals? But maybe it's not. And then if it's not against her values, her and her husband don't share the same values, which will lead to a divorce.
It's like, I didn't even put myself in this situation.
It was a surprise.
Yes.
So we didn't know we were coming.
Exactly.
Okay, but see, you can't play victim when you're an adult because you can always just take an Uber home. Guys, we're not 15 years old. You're literally an adult. Get into an Uber and go home. So imagine a man being like, babe, I didn't even know we were going to the brothel, bro. And then all of a sudden I was there. You're an adult. Get in the cab and go home. You can't use the excuse of like, I didn't put myself in this situation. If you have a friend who's questionable and they're like, it's a surprise, don't worry. Be like, hey, I actually need to know ahead of time because if it's against my religion, I'm not going. And then if your friend's like, oh my gosh, you're being such a party pooper, tell your friend the friendship's over. Because for your friend to put you in a position where you are threatening your life is wrong. Now, if her and Zach do not share the same values, and this is honestly less about the values and more about the fact that their relationship sucks, then moments like this are just bringing to light the toxicity and why they should break up.
I definitely think this isn't just about Chip and Dale.
Obviously.
I think this is a lot more than that.
Oh my God, is she gonna get divorced, bro?
Like, I haven't done anything wrong.
No, we have not even gone in there. Like,
it's just so frustrating.
So they stayed backstage, which is why they're like, we didn't even go in there. All right, I'm exhausted. Oh, these bubbles. These bubbles are so exhausting to me and I don't like them. And this is why I'm very particular about group activities because, girl, I'm stressed for them. It seems like a lot of their relationships are pretty toxic. Zach expresses the controlling parts of him that I think is unattractive in all people. But this is why you have to know a person's values and insecurities and vices before getting married, hopefully, so you guys can figure out if you can handle them. I definitely couldn't be with somebody who was like controlling. Obviously, I think that's a huge issue. Even the word controlling, like I don't want that in the vocabulary of my marriage. I do not want either of us to describe each other as controlling. That is a huge red flag for me. And so just the fact that they said it so comfortably this whole time, friends, family, like, oh, we're controlling, huge red flag. You might as well, just say I'm emotionally abusing my partner. I don't like it. Oh, he's overly protective. Red flag. Overly protective, controlling, super red flags. Not interested. I would be interested to see where this goes. Maybe they get divorced. Maybe they don't. I also didn't like the implication she made about her mother working at the hospital and how there was sort of like and she's an immigrant, I think, if I recall. Like, I don't like the idea that like, oh, they think they're better than her mother. Like, I don't like that implication, and I feel like there is a lot of that. But, I mean, it's not like Mormons weren't known for being racist. No offense to Mormons in my audience, but y'all got a bad reputation. And it's not like they're not known for being really misogynistic, which is not that different from other traditional religions. So, from one modern lady to another, divorce, move on. Toxic relationships are no-go in 2025. Thank you. We're moving into 2025 toxic relationship lists. Okay, I'll see you guys for the next episode. I'm honestly relieved we're at the end because this level of toxicity gets a little overwhelming for me. And apparently the new season of Ultimatum, which I'm reviewing next, is no exception to this. Apparently people are pretty upset about the season. So we'll get into that as well. If you have never seen an Ultimatum series, it's a pretty toxic premise to start with, right? So we'll get into that next time as well as at the end of this when we finish this. We're almost done. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.
In my head, in real life I'm in bed, my belly's being fed and I'm okay. I'm just fine, yet all I do is whine, not to you in my mind, cause I know I don't make sense. I've been nothing but blessed, so why's my life a mess? Please tell me, cause I'm sick of thinking, yeah, I'm sick of reaching out for the truth and living life as a fool.